Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. This is coming from Bust. This is actually pretty funny. Uh, we know that crackdown has come for a lot of things. Etsy and eBay have banned the sale of spells and hexes. Basically, anything related to witchcraft, Wicca, or anything else. First eBay, now this. Etsy has banned users from selling spells. To get technical, and vendor can still sell them but are prohibited from claiming that they do anything. They basically want to say, Etsy, leave the witches alone, or leave our witches alone. When eBay banned the selling of spells and other metaphysical objects in 2012, people turned to Etsy for their metaphysical products. It had fairly simple rules about the sale of these objects. As long as the seller provided some sort of tangible object, proof that the spell had been cast, and warned that spells may not work. Everything was permissible. Now Etsy's revised its policy and sales a service saying any metaphysical service that promises or suggests it will affect physical change, i.e. weight loss, or an outcome, love, revenge, is not allowed even if it delivers a tangible item, or even if they deliver a tangible item. According to the Daily Dot, the article's author, J.S. Saxonia, purchased her own amazing sex spell on Etsy. Don't know about it, but many users have reported either items being removed or entire stores taken down. Some say they received a warning first, but they claim they never got so much as a notice. However, interested parties can still sell select metaphysical items on the site. An admin of Etsy forum stated, you may sell astrological charts, tarot readings, tangible objects, as long as you are not making a promise that the object will affect physical change or the outcome, such as weight loss, love, revenge. Medical drug claims of medical cure are not allowed. So basically, this is what it basically sums up, ladies and gentlemen. Etsy and eBay way back in 2012, have stopped the sale of metaphysical items. Anything that would have a metaphysical value, such as a hex, a blessing, some sort of thing of that sort. So even if the Catholic Church wanted to go on eBay and put a cross that was blessed, they would be banned. If the monks in Tibet wanted to sell a line of various statutes or something and say, this can bring good luck, they can't. If somebody wanted to sell, let's say copper spoons or copper door handles, something like that, right? Now, this would be a little bit different, but listen to this. Now, in theory, they could sell them claiming that the copper itself, it promotes antibacterial responses, which is in the physical. However, in the metaphysical, the use of these over time will promote health and longevity. Now, what's the difference between that and, say, I don't know, some Wiccan or cross being sold, having a prayer on it that says it, let's see here. It keeps the germs away, or it keeps bad spirits away from getting you sick. And on the inside, they put silver or something like that so that it promotes that sort of thing. So I found this and I thought it was interesting. I am trying to play with my little kitty here. She keeps getting on my leg. I have shorts on. And she either tries to pull herself up or just tries to stab me with her nails. So I'm over there wiggling my fingers, trying to get her to just not do that. So anyways, this is what it is. This is absolutely true. This is not a hoax. eBay stopped doing this in 2012, or actually started doing this in 2012. And Etsy, I guess, started doing it more recently. So if you wanted a cross that was blessed, and you know your archdiocese or who have you was to sell them on eBay, they couldn't say it was blessed. They couldn't say it was for good luck. They couldn't say any of that. They could sell the material good, but they couldn't actually advertise it as being metaphysically this or that. And they could douse it in holy water. They can make it out of copper. They can make it out of some type of nanite type technology where it literally promotes positive vibrations to the person who wears it. And they couldn't promote it metaphysically. Even if the science was right there, it would count as a metaphysical characteristic, and they couldn't do it. In fact, they would probably be banned from selling the product itself. So I found this to be very interesting, and in times where we need a little extra in our lives, I thought this was kind of ridiculous. Growing up, I was a little bit more into the occult, a little bit more into witchcraft and stuff like that. Background of my family is a little more from the Eastern European countries. My great-grandmother used to have some abilities. I think she used to assist the police a little bit here and there. But one of the things that she would do is seances and things of that nature, talking with the dead, stuff like that. And she was supposedly supposed to be really good at it. And I don't know if she could do any key blasts or move around anything with her mind or spirit, you name the property thereof. But basically, what she could do is she could do a seance and she could ask the quote-unquote spirits. One such was that my mother tells is that when she had one of my sisters, or rather my mother and her friends and her people were all sitting in a circle with my great-grandmother, a woman I've never met, or at least she died like when I was like 1 or 2, so I technically never met her. So they'd all sit in a circle, they'd light a candle, they'd do the thing to open the seance, whatever it was that she did that I probably don't know how to do. And basically, all the lights would be out. And she'd ask the spirits, will this be, will that be, this and that. And so basically, there was she asked the sex of the baby, and the spirits supposedly had a pink blanket form over the candle for one of my sisters. For me, I guess one of the things that was weird, when she had asked about me, when I was basically being born or thereabouts, I guess there was a chair that moved across the room or something. I don't really understand that neither. It was probably just wind or something. I don't know. But basically, the way I understand it is, for a baby boy, there's usually a, say, metaphysical object for a baby blanket, right? For me, they saw a blue blanket over the flame, and supposedly one of the chairs or something had been tipped over, something like that. And my great grandmother had said that's usually a sign that they would be born with, some kind of ESP or some kind of this or that. I don't have anything like that. I have very few real skills. I have a little bit more remote viewing, a little bit more extrasensory perception, but over the years, I think those abilities have kind of diminished, at least to the point where they were when I was younger. When I was younger, I was like that kid in what's that movie? I think it's Scream 3, but you can name whatever show you want, whatever movie. It's the one that did all the people and told them their future, you know. And what I'm usually good at is knowing whether or not somebody's life force is basically getting ready to fade out or something like that. There's this really weird smell that I can smell. And everybody claims that nobody else can smell it. If you've ever smelled a dead person, you know that smell, right? That dead smell. That's the physical one. Well, I smell that around people when either they're in their older age or if they're starting to get to a point where they're suicidal or other things. And I had a perfect example. I had this female friend, Alicia, when I was growing up. I was about, I'd say about 21, 22. I went to a buddy's birthday party. And I said, this is a kind of a bummer, this and that, but he wanted me to come. He insisted, so I came. I hadn't seen Heather, or Alicia rather, probably better part of 3 or 4 years. We all used to get together with Heather and Alicia to go camping. There'd be like the 8 of us, big group of kids, nothing wrong going on, nothing bad. His parents would be there, a couple of their aunts and uncles, and they'd go up to some campground I can't even remember, and they just do a big old cookout, lay out in tents, and go camping and stuff. Well, around her 21st birthday, which oddly enough was right around the corner when I was at my friend's birthday party, and there's 2 or 3 things you usually notice right before somebody gets to basically kick the bucket or gets close to that. One is you see a total relaxation of everything. Like nothing matters anymore and they're free to do whatever and move on. Okay, that's the first thing. It doesn't matter. Animals, people, you name it. Majority of people I know, whether they're old, whether they're young, they usually have some kind of a sickness. It goes away, and they come back, and they're like good for like 2 whole weeks, like perfect, happiest you've ever seen them, everything better than ever, and then all of a sudden, dead. So, I was at this party. Everybody's early 20s. Some of them were drinking. I wasn't. I wasn't feeling it. And there's Alicia. She was, she had the dude she was seeing, some other people, and she was just acting, happy-go-lucky, this and that, dancing and all this. All of a sudden, I just smelled that smell. And I went over and I'm like, okay, cool. Maybe it was her drink or something. I don't know. So I asked her. I think it was an uncle or a father or something. I said, so, hey, have Alicia come here for a minute. Why? Because I think she's wearing something bad or something. I didn't want to tell them what it was. So they did, and sure enough, that smell just. I'm like, whoa. And it's just that smell. I mean, that end of life smell. And I had like 20 people around. I said, you guys don't smell that? I'm not trying to say that it was her, but everybody knew that I was like this, and they knew. And I said, honey, look, you know, and I talked to her a little bit, and I said, you got this really weird smell. And we took several photos, and she actually did kind of have a weird outline around her aura. And I've never really analyzed the auras or anything. But she really kind of was kind of marked for, Gonnersville. And sure enough, she went out partying on her 21st, went out drinking, and died via a truck driver. And that was probably a couple months later. And I'm like, wow, that is ridiculous. And one of my buddies, or my buddy, he had called me up like right then and there and said, hey man, you know that smell you were smelling? I said, yeah. Because what it kind of reminds me of is like formaldehyde, kind of like embalming fluid. It's somewhat similar to that. And he says, you won't believe this. I said, what? He says, Alicia passed away. She got hit by a drunk driver, or some story or another. You know how it is. One story I heard was she was drinking and she hit the truck. Another story, both of them were driving. Another story, you name it, whatever. So I never even got to the funeral because they kept it so quick and wanted it over with and wanted the family to kind of just, have some time for processing and everything. Another time was my father's dad had been, he was at some graduation party. Something for the family, maybe a wedding reception or something, I don't know. And this was a guy, the family never really liked him. He did a lot of stupid shit in his early years, kind of pissed everybody off. So anyways, he had this weird thing going on where he wasn't really himself. And I got by him, and he and I were close. He's not my grandfather, as I would say it. I hadn't really spent a lot of time with him growing up. I seen him like maybe 3-4 times. And anyways, he was kind of a prick in his last 30 or so years to the family. So, but I had been halfway across the room. I actually had been making a salad at the time. And I just got that whiff. What the hell is that? And I went back. Old people, they have weird smells. I didn't think anything of it. But, that night he didn't really have a burst of energy, so I didn't really think about it. But about 6 months to a year later, sure enough, he had died. Last time I seen him was at that party. And everybody's like, oh my God, Grandpa Rogers died. Oh. Like, why aren't you crying? I said, I never knew the guy. I said, he was like an uncle I saw like 3 times. I said, there have been squirrels that run out in the street that I've cared about more. I mean, honestly. I mean, it would be like somebody walking up to you, shaking your hand, and finding out 5 years later they got hit by a bus and died. Hey, remember that guy that shook your hand at that place? Okay. Yeah, well, he died. Okay. And that's it. So, that I can kind of sense when danger is near, this and that, little nuances here, nuances there, but it's nothing I could ever build a career out of or help law enforcement or, for the most part, even really put on record. I had tried to sign up for the Army because back in my day, I used to be able to do little things telekinetically, and I had gotten really good where I could take a pencil or a pen. Now I'm holding this, obviously, but I could lay it flat, stand back 10 feet or so, and with one good concentrated thought, I could move it or knock a pop can over or something. That takes a shitload of concentration and skill I don't have. I generally don't have it anymore unless I'm frightened or in another way, of heightened sense, and then all that comes back. I don't know anybody that's been able to do anything more than a mild Chi blast or Ki blast. I don't know anybody that's been able to levitate an object, no matter how light it is. I still don't believe that's possible. Yet I used to do these things when I had Halloween parties where 6 people got in a circle and they made somebody levitate. Now I think it actually took about that many people to get that amount of mass off the ground. Because I've never seen a person with an apple just go, without holding it or something. I've never seen it. So, it's an unfortunate thing that in today's world that witches and psychics and various other things of that nature are still kind of demonized, because it's all technically the same thing. You have an excess ability to move spirit energy. And it's not even that so much. All it is the energy around us basically is here, and we can take this and make it go like this. Now, obviously, I'm holding it, so you get the idea, right? All right. So, when I heard this, folks, Etsy bans the sale of spells and hexes, I just thought of all the crap that was related to it. I just thought how bad things actually were. I understand that they don't want to promote love or revenge or notice they even said medical benefits. Medical benefits. Okay? Back in the old days, you would actually go to a healer who actually knew what incense, when burned, would break a fever. What incense, when crushed and made into a powder, would cure somebody's stomach problems. All right, these were the beginnings of the doctors and the EMTs, yet there were people who did this stuff in the backwoods who still do it in the backwoods. And there are even houses today that nobody owns them, and they're in the woods. And, if you go into Georgia or Kentucky and you go into those forests, you better have some protection, because there is some shit back there. I remember that one movie, what was it called? Key or something? It was about, I'm just going to make up the plot story because I don't really remember it, because I don't think I've even seen it. But I remember a similar story to this. So the movie itself was based on a legend that back in the old days, you had a an incantation spell something you did with a group of people. And if you did it right and you were in the woods, this house would appear. It wasn't a grand house, but it was a house in the woods. And if you went into those woods and you asked and you sat in that house and you closed that door, you were supposed to be in the spirit realm. Now, do I know one thing versus another? Of course not. But I think in the movie Key, I think that's what it was, Conjure maybe, something like that. I think the girl's little brother was dying of cancer, and their spin on the witchcraft was, if you stay in this house overnight, and these demons or whatever they were supposed to be were basically going to help you. Anywho, so basically, I know I'm starting to feel like a really, really weird sensation. It's coming like pretty much back over in this area. My eyes are being drawn there for some reason, and there's like nothing there. Hopefully, there will never be anything there, or else I will be hightailing it. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up real quick. And anyways, so about the story. So I believe in the movie she makes it through the night and her brother is cured, but she goes missing or something. I'm not even kidding. I'm not even joking around here. It was like a clawing noise. And I'm looking. And there is nothing over here that can claw. The kitty is fast asleep, laying on the floor. Anywho, see, even talking about that shit brings him up. It does. It really does. And that's why you gotta kind of hold off. I was actually gonna do a little thing here to kind of benefit the situation, but I decided not to because somebody had come home. They're strictly against that sort of thing, and I wasn't really gonna do anything but burn a candle and inside a pentagram with something. But putting that stuff online is bad nowadays because if somebody sees it that's from the company or something of that sort happens to somebody, you're liable. So I had put it all away and I didn't do it. I had, one second, I'll show you what I had over here just in case. Yeah. I had my pocket Bible just in case. Always keep it by me, or at least near me. Doesn't always keep the spirits off you, doesn't always keep everything going on, but as you can see, I do own a Bible. I'm actually interested to see what this ribbon is for. Hang on a second. Who knows, maybe I'm supposed to read something. One second. Nope. No, there's generally nothing in this. I'm looking at X 541 and X through X 721. I thought maybe there was something I was supposed to read, but nothing's really coming into focus. So, Coolio, 1 second. So nothing was really coming into focus there. But this really kind of puzzled me, and I thought of all the other things that these guys would have to kick out, and it just comes to products. I mean, they even claimed that they were kicking out medical products for metaphysical things. I mean, pretty soon you wouldn't be able to buy copper. You know, like the copper wristbands and the sleeves and stuff, because it promotes health and awareness, and can you know alleviate pain and stuff. I haven't used those yet. I believe in just fighting through the pain and being done with it. I really do. But really, I mean, once you ban the things you count as stupid, you can really start automatically selecting all sorts of products that you no longer want around. I mean, we're talking about uh, things made out of gold, because they have sorry about that. They have technical abilities. Things out of copper, because they have antibiotic and semi-healing purposes for various contact forms. I mean, I'm thinking of like door handles alone made out of copper. It has a little steel piece in the middle, but really it's covered in copper. And like in hospitals and stuff, I know they're starting to use those. To where if you turn the handle, you don't have all those germs on the handle because it's covered in copper. And the sleeves and the back braces and everything that they have now, it's coming out in copper and all these healing properties. So really, this is going to open up into a whole new market of things that they can just stop selling, because their products claim it can do something that it can't, or that it has metaphysical properties. And if you remember, the article itself even said that it was even kicking out medical uh, things, and it didn't really go into detail, but I mean, that's just really, really strange. I mean, it's getting to a point where you can't do anything